Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Toddery, your local art dealer. In today's video, we're gonna talk about how to draw eyes, all right? So I'm not pro-co, you feel me? I'm not gonna talk about like the scientific. I don't know. 1 second. God damn. God damn. But yeah, I ain't gonna talk about the anatomical names and different parts of anatomy and all the very important but super detailed names of things. I'm gonna make this as simple as possible. This is for the absolute beginner, basically, okay? I'm gonna give you guys 3 helpful tips on how I draw eyes and the kind of the mental checklist I go through, okay? So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, for the 3 steps, I'm gonna talk about the shape of the eye, the placement of the pupil and the iris, the dark part, the black hole part, and that dilates and takes in light, and the iris, which is the colored part of your eye, whether it's brown, blue, hazel, whatever. And for the 3rd thing, we're gonna talk about the placement of the eyelashes and how to do it. Oh my God, I forgot to put Larry down here next to me. This is Larry, y'all. Y'all see him? All right, so now I'm gonna switch my overhead camera and show you on Procreate how I draw eyes, basically, okay? So let's get into it. When I draw eyes, I think of the 3-2 method, okay? So I'm gonna show you what that means. So I will go for the top of the eye, 1, 2, 3. And for the bottom, 1, 2. That's basically the shape of an eye. Because when you think of an eyeball, the shape of the eye wraps around it, okay? So, and remember, eyelids have depth to them, they have dimension, okay? So I think with eyelashes, like eyelids like this, like kind of just surrounds it, right? And for the bottom part, it kind of does the same thing, right? Here's the bottom part. All right, so that's step 1. The shape of the eye. So no matter what eye shape, this shape applies to almost every single eye. It's really weird, actually. You just have to tweak the length of the different sides, right? So let me show you here. So that's a basic eye. Let's say you have more almond-shaped eye, like more feminine eye, kind of do like that. So they all basically follow the same rules, okay? See? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay? So let me write that down. 3, 2 method. All right, number 2, I'm going to talk about the pupil and the iris. So basically, this is your eye, this is your iris, and this is your pupil. So usually the pupil is black, and then this is all where all the colorful bits go, right? This is called, and this is what we call a concentric circle. So it's all equidistant, right? So like a target or eyeball, right? So you want this to be all equidistant. So you want this to be all equidistant, basically, especially when you're looking straight on for an eye, okay? We're not gonna talk about any other angles right now. We want to keep it nice and simple in this video, okay? And of course, your pupil can be different sizes. You can have a pupil really, really big or really, really small. It's person by person, okay? So when you have an eye, your eyelids cut off at different spots. Your eyelids can cut off at different spots, right? So that way you don't usually see the whole pupil, right? So when you have eyes like this, your eye, one thing I've noticed is that your eye, is, like I said, it's basically a perfect circle. It could come down to like right here. It could touch the bottom, or it could go well past the bottom too, okay? So, depending on the shape of the eye, you can see a different amount of the white part, like that, okay? So it just depends on the person, okay? So that's one thing I want you guys to pay attention to when you're drawing someone. And also with the eyelids, when you look at someone's eye, this ball here, depending on how much the ball of your eye protrudes, that can vary too. So some people have really close ones, they have really high ones, medium ones, whatever. So they all come in different sizes too. So that's another thing to pay attention to when you're drawing eyes. And make sure you draw from reference to. That's very, very important, okay? And for the last thing I'm going to touch on today, because like I said, this is just a crash course. It's not super detailed, okay? I want you guys to pay attention to number 3. Wow. So number 3, we're going to talk about eyelashes, okay? Eyelashes. Very, very important. So when you're drawing eyelashes, a lot of people don't think of the flow of it, okay? Some people just do something like this and just hope it works. No. To get nice and realistic eyelashes, you have to do something that's very important called the tapered stroke. Tapered stroke. So what is a tapered stroke? A tapered stroke is basically something that goes from thick to thin, okay? So if you can observe here, that little flick is very, very important, okay? Especially when you're doing eyelashes, okay? So if I'm drawing an eye right here, I make sure I flick, right? So that's, but when you get to here, you're not done yet, okay? Because to make something look more realistic, you can have things clumped together. You can have kind of the randomness of real eyelashes, okay? Because most eyelashes aren't that perfect, okay? So if you just practice this movement on a separate piece of paper, just keep flicking your wrist and see what and see how realistic you can make the eyelashes look. So you see how it's, I like to cross over sometimes. Keep it nice and simple, okay? But also, when you're drawing eyes that are relatively small on the paper, it's okay to shade. And then, they don't have to be as defined as I have here, okay? So it just depends on what art style you have. There's a lot of variables, okay? So you have it feathered out depending on how masculine or feminine you want them. And for the bottom eyelid, remember the eyelid has thickness, so I add another little line. I just add a few wispy ones, okay? And that's one thing that's helped me with eyes a lot, okay? And then, like I said, you keep it basically a perfect circle. I kind of cheat on Procreate by doing this. And then I have my pupil here. And I go in, make a little shine of the eye, because your eye has basically a liquid on top of it, right? It sounds kind of weird to say it, but your eyes are, they have water on your, to keep them moist, right? So it's very important to add glares to give it life, because usually when you don't have a glare, it makes a person look more dead or not alive, because you're kind of dehydrated, okay? So that's one thing I always do. Just add a little highlights, right? And then kind of just shade, because you have to think of your eyelid as an awning, okay? Because think about this. Let me do this on a separate piece, on a separate layer. Let's say you have a sun, right? What's up, Mr. Sun? And he's shining his light down, right? We have an umbrella. It's going to block out that sunlight, right? And then it'll be darker, right? That's no different than the eyelid, okay? Because your eyelid has thickness, and it comes down onto your eye. Now here's the bottom eyelid, right? This is a side view. This is your eyeball, your eyelashes, and you create kind of a darker shadow on top of your eyelid, right? So that's one reason I have. Let me show you that. So that's one reason I create the shadows on top of the eye like that, because this kind of leaves. This kind of leaves that there, right? You kind of want that to make it a little more realistic and show that it's roundness to your eye, okay? And depending on how dark the eye is, I kind of, leave it a little lighter, leave it a little darker. This depends on the situation. And let's say I kind of have all this dark, you go in with an eraser and make some highlights, right? The more highlights you have, the more it looks like they're going to cry, or their eyes is really, really watery, right? And another thing here, I add a little corner. Got a little corner to show that, right? And honestly, that's basically the whole gist of eyes, okay? And there's another thing too that I can help you with is the space of where to put your eyebrow. It's basically this bean shape. So you kind of see it here, this bean shape. And then you can kind of just put your eyebrows right there. For a little bonus content, I'm gonna show you guys how I draw eyebrows. This is how you draw eyebrows. So I like to kind of have a template shape, and everybody's eyebrow is so different, okay? So it's all about observing, kind of figure out the shape of people's eyebrows. But I just do little lines and just have it follow along, okay? So the shape is basically this, and then it turns into like a weird arrow. Super weird, but that's basically the gist of eyebrows. Just make sure just try it for yourself. Just go into the mirror and just look at your eyebrows and see, and see how they grow. Like, because they grow in a certain direction. And it's very important to kind of observe that. Okay, so with mine, just kind of. And that's basically it for eyebrows, You like erase it. I kind of make a little point. And that's basically eyebrows. And to kind of hammer my point home even further, I want to talk about this. I'm sure you guys heard of it. It's very popular right now. It's a great TV show. It's called Invincible, and they actually follow the same rules that I was when I was planning out this video. I was watching this, and I saw they follow the same exact rule I was talking about, right? So as you can see here, they follow the 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's way too big. That's what she said. They follow the same 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 principle. And if you look at almost every single character that's human, basically in that movie or in that TV show, they actually follow those rules. So I thought it was really interesting that it parallels a lot of things, especially animated things, where you have to get a lot of information in a very little strokes, basically, So yeah, I thought it was really, really interesting too. So hopefully this was a nice little beginner's guide. I didn't want to get super detailed. Kind of want to just hit the main bullet points about the shape, the pupils, the iris, and the eyelashes, and a little bit of the eyebrow. So if you guys found value in this, please share, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.